Alright guys, so yeah, I thought I'd get one up on, all the New Year's resolutions and start vlogging. I mean, I've got a story to tell. I may as well tell it. And though I've got like, hundreds of thousands of views on the blog, most people don't read these days. So yeah, before I begin, this is Charizard. I just want him. We're at Bateman's Bay right now, so on holidays. And I went to the fair and, like a boss, just bowled and got it in, got him. So yeah, I guess the first topic I'll probably talk about is pain. And yeah, for those who don't know, I am an ex-cancer patient. So, I've had to endure a lot of pain while going through treatment. So you'd think I'd be used to it by now. But no, I guess the little known truth about surviving cancer is that not everyone just comes out being this, happy, yellow, optimistic dude who runs triathlons, does all this crazy kind of stuff, right? It's not always true, let me tell you that. With me, I started cramping 4 years ago now. Now I think about it, damn, in 2013. It's hard to describe to someone who hasn't had a cramp before, but it's pretty much when your muscles are so sore, but they won't stop firing, right? Everyone who's had a cramp knows how bad that is. But with me, I guess the cramps, they came on every day. It started off in the calves, then it, went further on, and now I was like this every night. I literally became a hunchback. I didn't want to move from my bed. I'd literally plan out my toilet trips based on how bad the cramps were. And I said it started in the calves, but then it spread and it went to the upper legs, my buttocks, my arms, my fingers. I'd have a claw every night when I was trying to study. And the thing is, I hardly ever got a break from all that. It was always there. Every single day I'd have to face that pain. And it was tough. With the cancer, I at least had something to work towards. Survival, I guess, was the goal. With this, a chronic disease, which I don't know if there's a cure for, that it's completely different. So let's get to the bottom of this. Why do the cramps happen? The thing is, we're not sure. It could be because of the graft versus host disease, a chronic disease where I have someone else's immune system inside me attacking every single cell in my body, potentially causing this. It could be some neuropathy that I have that could possibly be making my nose fire when they shouldn't. Thing is, though, we don't know. And when we don't know what to target. We don't know what to use. We don't know what exercises to do. All those kind of things. We have no clue. But sometimes things worked. For instance, quinine is the most well-known sort of thing that works for cramps. There's not much known about cramps, though, that's the thing. And it works for a lot of people. But after taking it for 2 months, which felt like the best 2 months of my life, it stopped working. My receptors, they must have reduced in number. That's how tolerance often develops. Other than that, though, there wasn't really anything that would make it better. And the thing is, after a while, the cramps started to change me. I was diagnosed with leukemia at 17, and within a few days or weeks, I developed this mindset, this attitude where I'd focus on the things I could control rather than the things I couldn't. It only made sense to do that. It was the only logical thing to do going forward. It's not the brave or courageous thing. It didn't require that much willpower because I figured out that just focusing on the things that would lead me to be happy and healthy wherever I could, that's the best you can do in life. But the pain, when it struck and it just kept striking and every single thing we tried to do either stopped working or just didn't work, after a while it changed me. The thing that happens in chronic pain in many people, not only are you having pain, your brain is also rewired to adapt to that pain and it makes it even worse. And the depression that came with that pain, I think that was even worse than the pain itself because it made me stay in the pain. It made the pain that much worse. And let me tell you, from my cancer days, you could be in the worst pain, you can be in the worst state of your life, but you can still be happy if you have your mind on your side. And I'd lost that. And it isn't like I didn't try to get past the depression. I tried so many things. I took a step back. I questioned all my paths and what I could do. I looked everywhere for cures. I'm a medical student too, so I was trawling through all the literature. But the thing is, there wasn't anything there. And after a while, even when the doctors gave up on me, I started to think that this pain would be my future. I'd be destined to just feel this my whole life, go through all this torture, fail at everything, fail to contribute, and try and make this world a better place, which is what I really want to do. And the pain and the struggle to not make it, that didn't make sense to me. And what did make sense was actually not going on. And so, yeah, I was quite suicidal for a while. I'd lost hope. And that's one thing that depression sucks away from you. And another thing that depression takes away from you is the ability to enjoy life. Because all I was thinking about was the pain and when it would come. Even despite those thoughts, I still kept trying. And one day I hit the jackpot. I was inspired in part, I guess, by this up yours sort of attitude to a doctor that I had who told me, you kill your cramps, there's never going to be research on it, you're never going to get cured, without even looking up other things, without even referring me to a rheumatologist even. But it was mainly just me trying to find a way out of this. One night, I just stayed up all night looking for things related to cramps. Not actually cramps themselves, but diseases that may have cramps or, spontaneous firing of muscles as a feature. And so I looked at things like fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, chemotherapy-induced peripheral neuropathy, diabetic peripheral neuropathy, myotonias, dystonias, and I found a list of like 50 different things I could try. And on all this research that I did, it's all sitting there on a document. I should probably write it up. If someone wants to write it up with me, I'd be happy to do that. If anyone wants it, by the way, just message me. I'll get it to you. You can show it to your doctors and see what they think. But yeah, I found those different things and I started going through that list and I got my hope back. But then nothing really helped for a while and I went back into that downward spiral. And it got to a point one day after I was coming out of the lab that I just had enough. I just wanted to end it and I felt like walking in front of a train. But luckily, instead of that, right across the road was Liverpool Hospital, the place I was diagnosed, and I went and I was lucky enough to meet my first doctor, I guess the guy who I believed in. The words he told me when I was diagnosed was, the good news is you're 17 and you have leukemia, but the bad news is you're 17 and you have leukemia. And I fixated upon that and saw that he wouldn't be doing any of this if he didn't think it could work. But I was 17, I had everything on my side, right? When I went to him for the first time in so long, I felt cared for. He got me into emergency. He made sure I got help and treatment right away. He always does that. And once I was there, I saw a psych registrar, a trainee, and she talked to the consultant. She said, you're not despondent, you're not going psycho, you're not completely mental, you are probably going through some bad depression. And I said, can I take some antidepressants? Because even though I knew all the side effects, even though I knew they suck, in many ways, I just wanted to get out of that zone. And she charted one for me. But then I said, you know what, if I'm going to be on an antidepressant, why not take one that helps one of those conditions that I'd looked up? And so I told her to prescribe me duloxetine. That's a serotonin reuptake inhibitor, which basically means you get that neurotransmitter, serotonin, coming back up in your system, which makes you happier, less depressed. And you know what? In 2 days, not only did the fog lift my brain, a literal fog, I guess, in the mind, it felt like a burden was taken off my shoulders. It was amazing. But even more amazing was that in 2 days, I started feeling less pain. In fact, the pain sort of disappeared. The cramps did stop. The difference was I just didn't focus on the cramps. I didn't care so much. It didn't affect me like it used to. And that was amazing. That was literally a life-saving drug just as much as my chemos and my bone marrow transplants were. And it was great. For a few months I was awesome. It stopped working as effectively after a while, but at the same time I was at least not depressed, so I could still move on. I could still persist, and I actually wanted to, and that was awesome. But then after a while I developed toxicity to it. And so that option was taken away from me as well. And after that, I started going downhill again. For the last few months, I started hating myself, feeling pity for myself. I was fighting all the time with my parents, started getting those thoughts, why am I even continuing? Why am I even bothering? And I was on the next drug and it was maybe helping a little, but not so much. And I thought, here we go again. This is gonna suck. I can't take any other drugs in that sort of class. All the other options I've had that worked have stopped working, what was the point again? Now, I've been seeing a psych for about a year now, since I guess that episode, and we've been talking things out. That was awesome. Talking about things really does help, just as much as the drugs do, I think. But advocating for acceptance, it's really hard to accept that this is going to be your life for a long while. It's a sucky thing to have to cope with. That was a root problem there, that I may have to face these cramps forever. I may have to be in pain for a very long time at least. And acceptance, I guess that was a half measure. It really didn't fix the root problem. All of this is just me self-reflecting the other day. What's the best thing I can do for myself? Hope. You know, I had so many other drugs to try. Let's go through them as well if my doctor lets me. But the problem with hope is that you live and die based on results, based on outcomes. And positive outcomes, they're rare. No one has a cure for cramps, unfortunately. Not yet, at least. Maybe one's hidden away in that document. So I guess the next question was, what now? And when I asked myself that question, I didn't have an answer for a little while, and that sucked, made things worse. But one day, I just thought, you know what? When I was on duloxetine, that medicine that made me happier, it made the pain go away. It wasn't changing anything else. It wasn't working on my muscles, any cells, or my nerves. It was me being happy, or me ignoring the pain that was making the pain less horrible. And I thought to myself, you know what? Let's turn it around. Let's start being happy wherever I can, inducing some rush of happiness wherever I could with the cramps, and trying to work it out that way. And you know what? It's sort of working. I'm still cramping, I still twitch, I still get, bursts of pain, but now, whenever they happen, I start focusing on something else. And this time, what I wrote down in this document that I have, that I go back to, where I, refer back to things that have helped me in the past, this time, I told myself, you know what? Let's make every burst of pain an opportunity. Something that I can use to prove to myself that I can go on despite the pain. I've now come to terms with accepting that this may last forever through this. And I still keep hope, but this, over the last few days, even though I've been cramping like hell, has changed my life. I guess it's a cliched mind over matter kind of thing. But it's hard to see anything on your side when you are down. There isn't a way out of your struggles when you're not. When you just want to be more successful, be more happy with yourself, with your life. I guess ultimately, it comes down to this. You'll always have a choice on how you view things in life. You'll always have a second way of looking at things. Now, when you're depressed, it's really hard. Depression, it becomes your friend, it becomes you. It's almost comfortable being down and depressed. Everything seems hard to do. So it's really hard to motivate yourself, or really hard to motivate someone who has got depression to just get better. It doesn't really work that way. But honestly, it was hard to start seeing the pain that way. It didn't happen straight away. It took a while. But when I did, it made my life immeasurably better. And I'm gonna allow myself to have bad days. I'm gonna have really bad days sometimes, and that's alright. I mean, I'm only human. And I think that's important whenever you're trying to accomplish something, that you cut yourself some slack as well. It's healthy to feel down every now and then. To those of you guys who are struggling, whether it's with pain or with depression, I just want you to know that you don't have to suffer. I know it seems hard, but why put yourself through further pain when there is something that could get you out of it? It's not easy to see that when you are down, when you don't have your mind on your side. That's why talking to someone really helps. Talking to someone, especially a professional, it seems weird and daunting at first, but especially with the professionals, the very things that makes you feel afraid of them are the things that are amazing about them. They never have to see you in real life. They literally can't tell anyone what you say to them, so there's no fear of judgment. And they're literally professionals at what they do. I really recommend you go out and do that. But the thing is, this isn't just something that'll help people who are going through hardship, through pain. I ask you, why wait for something like this to happen to make your life better? Those things that are bugging you, those challenges that are in front of you, just being unmotivated, not wanting to do things, feeling down about yourself and not feeling like you're getting anywhere, that is something you can change with this too. I guess the TLDR of all of this is that you'll always have a second way to look at life. You'll always have a better path to follow. I mean, I'm doing this with one of the most horrid things you can do in life. I'm not courageous, I'm not brave, I don't have huge willpower to do this. I am desperate. But why wait? Why suffer to a point where you do become desperate? I'll leave you with that thought. By the way, for those of you guys looking on, I'm going to start vlogging at least once a week about various topics, things that'll help not just only patients, but anyone, even future doctors. And don't worry, I'll also be putting out a funny video or something about business and research every week as well. And a bit more about me. I am a medical student, a cancer researcher. It's always fun to kill those cancer cells at the end of the week. But aside from all that, I've also got a social enterprise that's pretty cool. We are creating a version of the hospital bed that'll reduce complications of hospital stays that literally take hundreds of thousands of lives and cost billions to our health budget every single year. And we're also creating a better version of the wedge pillow, one that adjusts, one that can take readings and help you sleep, one that's super comfortable as well. And to launch that, we've got an interesting campaign going called #GiveMeAWedgie. I'm going to play a little bit of that. Please do check it out. You can learn more about us at www.gettosleepeasy.org. We have info in all of this about how we're going to save lives. We have heaps of products that can help you get to sleep easy. You can donate. In the end, we're also a social enterprise, a business that gives all its profits to charity, meaning that we will perpetually create money for good causes, such as research and getting these beds to places where they're needed most in the developing world. And yeah, feel free to reach out to me as well. I am always here for people who need help, and I hope my words have helped you guys out there. Thanks.
Recently, I was given something so simple, yet so effective, that's literally changed my life.